Stam Garden Center, your one-stop shop for spring. Transform your indoor and outdoor space with our stunning selection. Visit us today, open 9 to 6, Monday through Saturday, located at 2421 Highway 92, Oskaloosa.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the thousands listening locally and the millions listening around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to shout.
Oh, yeah! Hey, welcome in on a Tuesday. I can't see anything because I've got my cool eclipse glasses on right now. Is it safe to take these things off yet? I'm looking directly at the sun. All right. I truly couldn't see anything, so let me get my glasses on. There. Now I can see something. Hey, good morning. Welcome to a Tuesday. The eclipse is over. Now you can go back to your normally scheduled staring at the sun. I was thinking yesterday as I was looking at the sun with my special glasses on. It's like, you know, they tell you not to look at the sun. Well, who normally does look directly at the sun? But anyway, was I the only one that was kind of underwhelmed by the eclipse yesterday? I mean, I had fun with it, but it wasn't all that it was cracked up to be. It never is. You know, you have these eclipses every few years, and it's like, you know, total darkness at 2 o'clock. It wasn't totally dark. It wasn't even close to being totally dark. It was kind of like, you know, when you have the Western or the Canadian fires kind of during the summer and you get kind of a fog. It wasn't even like that. It wasn't even as different as when you have smoke in the air. But I don't know. It's a little bit of it was different. It was weird. But yeah, I don't know. It wasn't all that it was cracked up to be, at least in my opinion. What do you guys think? Good morning to you, Dan. Dan was on the ball this morning. He was like, good morning, immediately. Dodie, Rebecca, where are you going to this morning? We've got Dixie and Molly and Cindy. Good morning to you guys. Doing the morning wake up here on Steve Shuttler Media on a Tuesday. It's brought to us these days by Stam Greenhouse in Oskaloosa. Experience the color with Stams. They are open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6. And closed on Sundays. So thanks to Stams for coming on board as our sponsor of the morning wake up here on Steve Shuttler Media. Appreciate Brent and the crew over at Stam Greenhouse in Oskaloosa. Of course, we are broadcasting live from the Oski Dental Studios. See Dr. Schuster and Dr. Drawn at the Oski Dental facilities in Oskaloosa, Iowa, 641-673-4845. Make sure you schedule your appointment for Oski Dental, bringing us our studios here on Steve Shuttler Media. Let's take a look at our forecast right now. It's always brought to us by the Garden Gate in Sigourney. And for today, we do have a beautiful day. Sunshine, a high around 66. West winds around 10, maybe to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear. A low of 42, just a little bit of a wind tonight. Tomorrow, Tomorrow's going to be perfect. Increasing clouds, highs in the upper 60s, and just a little bit of a wind. Tomorrow night, slight chance of some showers, cloudy, a low of 47. And Thursday will be breezy, partly sunny, a 50% chance of some showers on Thursday, and a high of 61. Current conditions, we have humidity at 86%, wind speeds at about 5 miles per hour, and the barometer at 29.96. 38 degrees right now in southeast Iowa. Your weather brought to us by the Garden Gate at 105 South Jefferson in Sigourney, 641-622-3191. Hours are Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, Saturdays, 9 to noon. A little while ago here on Steve Shuttler Media Facebook, we put up our This or That, which is brought to us every weekday by Stacy Flynn at the Legacy Insurance Group and Welcome Realty. This or that for today, shoes or slippers? What are you going with, shoes or slippers? Oh, they got these special Hawkeye shoes, too. That's kind of, for me, that makes it very hard not to pick the shoes. Shoes or slippers? I'm not really much of a slippers person, so I would go with the shoes, especially the Hawkeye high tops. Looks like something that Caitlin Clark would wear. Shoes or slippers are this or that. Make sure you comment on that. That was posted just a little while ago. Coming up at noon today, we will release our question of the day. It's brought to us by Amy's Salon House and Spa at 202 North Main in Sigourney. And today on the National Day calendar, which we will get to here shortly, one of the days that it is today is it's Name Yourself Day. Name yourself. If you could rename yourself, what would you name yourself? I don't know. Would you name yourself something different? Or would you just stick with what you got? Name Yourself Day. What would you name yourself? That is our question of the day. That goes up at noon on Facebook. Also going on here on the Facebook side of things, we've got our For the Fun of It tournament. And this month's tournament is 90s Country Female Superstar. Sponsored by Sarah's Quickie Delivery in Oskaloosa, the food delivery service in the Oskaloosa area. They serve a bunch of areas. Knoxville, Oskaloosa, New Sharon, Fremont, Eddyville, lots of towns and cities around south central and southeastern Iowa. Our matchup for today, going until 6 p.m. today, Faith Hill versus Lori Morgan. There you see, you got Faith on the left, Lori on the right. Thumbs up. Give the reactions. Comment voting does not count. If you put a thumbs up in the comments, it doesn't count. I mean, you can do it if you want. Or you can put a heart in the comments. It still doesn't count as an actual vote. You want to do that with the reactions, where you pull up the different reactions. I don't know. How many reactions are there? 6, 7, 8, something like that? But the thumbs up is for Faith Hill. The heart is for Lori Morgan. Right now, Faith Hill is in the lead. That was kind of expected. Faith was huge in the 1990s. So get your votes in. Votes for that count until 6 p.m. And then we'll put up our new matchup, which, by the way, let's take a look at our updated bracket. Shania Twain won her matchup yesterday against Terry Clark. Now we're on the other side with Faith Hill versus Lori Morgan. Next, at 6 p.m. this evening, goes up the Reba versus Dina Carter matchup. Reba McEntire, Dina Carter will be our next matchup. A lot of people in the comments the last couple of days are saying that Reba's going to win this whole tournament. So we'll see. We will see. She's definitely a contender. I'd say Shania, Faith, Martina McBride, Reba, Trisha Yearwood could all be legitimate contenders to the crown, to the throne. We shall see who is the queen of 90s country here in a few weeks as this tournament rolls along, brought to us by Sarah's Quickie Delivery. Coming up later on this week here on Steve Shuttler Media, we will have our Iowa Music Showcase live at Barnwired in Sigourney. Live interview, live original tunes. This Friday, we're going to be talking to Iowa's Joshua Sinclair. Joshua's a cool guy. I've known him for the last several years, and he's going to be playing us some tunes. We'll get to know Joshua Sinclair this Friday, 11:30 to noon. Live and in person, if you want to stop by at Barnwired, check us out. we'll be doing our thing. You can sit there and clap and cheer and make noise and drink coffee and eat lunch if you want while watching Joshua Sinclair, or you can just sit back and relax and watch it right here on Steve Shuttler Media, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. And that's the Iowa Music Showcase this Friday at Barnwired in Sigourney. Saturday, we will switch things over to Brothers Market in Sigourney with the sports section. Coach Hobbs, Jenny Hobbs, will be our host with the most. And she'll be doing things this Saturday morning live at Brothers Market in Sigourney starting at 8 a.m. Do your grocery shopping. Maybe come in, watch the show for a minute or two, then do your grocery shopping. So whatever you want to do. We got lots of stuff going on this week here on Steve Shuttler Media. And we're doing the morning wake-up here on Steve Shuttler Media, brought to us by Stam Garden Center, Stam Greenhouse, whatever you'd like to refer to it as. Also went up yesterday afternoon, our Athlete of the Week voting, our poll is up and Adam, Keokuk County Hospital and Clinic's Athlete of the Week. We have 10 different athletes from all around our area, so you can get your votes in there for the Keokuk County Hospital and Clinic's Athlete of the Week. We've also got our Team of the Week. Voting for that is up and running as well. That's brought to us by Kelly Style at State Farm in Oskaloosa. So, always tons of stuff going on here on Steve Shuttler Media. Sometimes it's almost too much for me it keeps my head on a swivel, that is for sure. The amount of things going on here on Steve Shuttler Media. Hey, let's do the morning wake up, and it's brought to us by Stams in Oskaloosa, live from the Oski Dental Studios. Let me take a look at the comments. Got to get caught up here. Rebecca is on her way to Arizona. Have a safe trip there. We've got Jackie, Sandy, Tamara, Tracy, Carson, Amber, Oski Dental watching. So good morning to you. But Tamara Schuster, got to say thanks to Tamara yesterday. Earlier when we started the show here, I had my Eclipse sunglasses on, and Tamara was cool enough to be sharing her pictures with me yesterday. Now, those pictures that you saw yesterday afternoon that I was putting on my Facebook page were pictures courtesy of Tamara at Oski Dental. So thanks you to Tamara for sharing your pictures and letting me share those with the viewing audience. So very cool pictures from yesterday's eclipse. All right, we are doing the morning wake up. Let's go ahead and do some birthdays. Happy birthday to you. All right. Birthdays for today. We've got our old fart of the day, our oldest celebrity on my list here. We've got composer, pianist, Tom Lehrer, I believe is how you say his name. 96 years old, so happy birthday to Tom. Other birthdays, we've got actor Dennis Quaid, turning 70 years old. He's in movies, tons of movies. Tons of movies over the years. Has recently, in the last several years, kind of gone more towards the Christian genre with his movies and his acting. Dennis Quaid, 70 years old. We've got model and children's author. That's a weird combination. A model and a children's author. Paulina Porzakova, turning 59. Actress Cynthia Nixon from Sex and the City, Addams Family Values, 58 years old. Actress Keisha Knight Pulliam. You might not recognize that name, but she was Rudy back in the 80s on The Cosby Show. Rudy, turning 45 years old, little Rudy. Other birthdays today, actress Kristen Stewart from Twilight is 34, and actress Elle Fanning is 26. So happy birthday to all of those celebrities. Good morning to you, Nancy. On this date, again, we are April 9th, Tuesday, April 9th today. On this date in history, 1833, the very first public library opened up. So happy birthday to libraries today. On this date in 1878, First Lady Lucy Hayes began the first egg rolling contest on the White House lawn. So that's kind of where that all started up. Rolling eggs. They should do that at the state fair. Make an egg rolling competition. 1878 for that. It was 1965 on this date, the Houston Astrodome, the world's first domed stadium, opened for the very first time. The Houston Astrodome on this date, 1965. It was on this date, 1976, the B-1 bomber was approved by Congress. It was on this date, 1992, the record for the heaviest chocolate Easter egg was set. Wow. This was in Australia. They made an Easter egg 10,482 pounds, and 14 ounces. How in the world? I don't know. 1992 for that almost 10,500 pound Easter egg made of chocolate. For that world record. Today, on the National Day calendar, as we mentioned earlier, it's going to be our question of the day with Name Yourself Day today. What would you name yourself? Today is Name Yourself Day. It's National Unicorn Day. In case you weren't understanding it could be National Shark Day, but no. We're unicorning. National Unicorn Day today. It's National Former Prisoner of War Recognition Day. It's National Chinese Almond Cookie Day. It's National Winston Churchill Day. It's National Name Yourself Day, as we mentioned, and National Cherish an Antique Day. So cherish those antiques on this special day. Let's see here. Things you need to know. All right, things you need to know. A judge has sentenced actor Jonathan Majors yesterday to a domestic violence intervention program following his conviction on assault and harassment charges for attacking his then-girlfriend in the back of a car last March. So Jonathan Majors in trouble there. Let's go to the Wheel of Fortune. Vanna, spin me a letter. We now know that Pat Sajak's final episode of hosting Wheel of Fortune will be shown on TV on June 7th. The thing is, he's going to be actually filming that final episode this Friday. They film these way in advance. So, Pat Sajak, happy retirement from Wheel of Fortune. Of course, it looks like his daughter's going to be taking things over, so the show will continue on into the future. Let's see here. A teacher in Ohio may be fired for taking a couple of sick days when she wasn't actually sick. Instead, she was attending a concert in Nashville. She apparently told too many people about her plans, probably foolishly posted to social media too, I'm guessing. But she might get fired for lying about some sick days. Other things you need to know, Meghan Markle went to a children's hospital in Los Angeles the other day to read to kids. Now, she was wearing a $3,500 designer floral shirt dress, is what they call it. So she went in style. She went very fashionable to read to the kids in a dress wearing about that cost about $3,500 for that dress. Country singer Morgan Wallen, he's in trouble again. He was arrested on felony charges after he allegedly threw a chair from the roof of a bar in downtown Nashville on Sunday. Luckily, he didn't hit anybody or hurt anybody. What may possibly have set him off was Morgan Wallen's ex-girlfriend married her new fiance just 5 days after getting engaged. So Morgan Wallen throwing chairs off of buildings in Nashville. If you're a fan of Curb Your Enthusiasm, of course you know that the series finale was Sunday night. I have never seen the show Curb Your Enthusiasm. Should I check it out? I don't know. Other things you need to know. A California man charged with setting a fire outside U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders' Vermont office recently, so you can't do that. How about The Rock? Do you smell what The Rock is cooking? I watched some of WrestleMania over the weekend. The Rock was involved, had a tag team match, was involved in the main event on Sunday. But the Rock will not be endorsing Joe Biden this time around. Now, he endorsed Biden back in 2020, but The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, says no presidential endorsement is coming this year from him. He says he feels it's just contributing to the divisiveness of the country. So he's keeping his endorsements to himself. A couple more things here. They surveyed a bunch of younger adults and found that younger adults actually prefer LinkedIn as opposed to a dating app like Bumble. So younger adults more interested in jobs, evidently, with LinkedIn than dating apps. Finally today, Pat Sajak, we talked about Wheel of Fortune earlier. Pat Sajak going to be retiring, hanging things up. But 29-year-old daughter Maggie is apparently dating a 48-year-old actor, Pat McCall. So Maggie Sajak likes older men, evidently. Those are your things you need to know. Let's do this. Today's Impossible Question. Today's impossible question. When it comes to money, about 20% of us have done this at least once. What is it? And I'm going to tell you this. It's consulting. But it's who you're consulting with. Again, when it comes to money, about 20% of us have consulted with this at least once. What is it? We've consulted our horoscope to make a financial decision. I'm really tempted to hit the duh button right now. Horoscopes. That's your impossible question. Hey, let's hear from our sponsor, which is Stam Greenhouse in Oskaloosa. They bring us today's morning wake up.
Garden Center, your one-stop shop for spring. Transform your indoor and outdoor space with our stunning selection. Visit us today, open 9 to 6, Monday through Saturday, located at 2421 Highway 92, Oskaloosa.
Hey, we thank Stams for bringing us our morning wake up here on Steve Shetler Media, live from the Oski Dental Studios. Good morning to you, Eloise, Nancy, Rick. Glad to see you guys hanging out this morning. Let's go ahead and get weird.
That is weird.
In some weird news today. Let me file through my weird stories. Let's go up to Canada. Ever since this guy was a child, he has had an incessant, intrusive thought and or thoughts about his left hand, the fourth and fifth fingers. So evidently the pinky and your ring finger. He's had some weird thoughts about these two fingers. He says he's had the sensation that they weren't his. That they weren't his fingers. That they didn't belong to his body. It's weird. At night, he would wake up from nightmares that his fingers were burning or rotting. The young Quebec man was so desperate to get rid of his fingers, he contemplated building a small makeshift guillotine. Ka-ching! Quote, he couldn't imagine himself living for years to come with those fingers, according to a report. Instead, a surgeon at his local hospital agreed to an elective amputation in what is being called the first described case of, quote, digits amputation for body integrity dysmorphia, a rare and complex condition characterized by an intense desire to amputate a perfectly healthy body part. Just because somebody's crazy and thinks that their fingers don't belong to them doesn't mean that you chop them off. You idiots. Other weird news. People. This world, I tell you. 3 people died after typhoon-like winds pulled them out through their apartment windows in southern China, as extreme weather battered the region over the past week. A total of 7 people had died in a province since the exceptionally strong winds began on Sunday. Among them were a woman in her 60s and her 11-year-old grandson, yanked from their apartment windows by strong winds, together with their mattresses. So, I mean, they're getting sucked out of their apartments in China. A 60-year-old woman from the same building was also swept out of the window by extreme winds. So, that's crazy. That's weird. That is weird. Let's also get to the weird. We're going to feature this particular story later on in the weird news on my Facebook page. Guests were in for more than a wild ride when they were attacked by a raccoon as they waited in line at Hershey Park. On Wednesday, TMZ shared a video of the chaotic scene when guests at the Hershey, Pennsylvania theme park became the animal's targets while waiting to board the Super Duper Looper. Screams were heard as adults, teens, and children ran in the crowded line, trying their best to avoid the raccoon. Raccoons. Wreaking havoc. Raccoons wreaking havoc in Hershey. All right. Other weird news today, a dispute over guacamole at a Chipotle location on Friday ended with gunfire. I mean, you know, when I get mad about guacamole, I always just start shooting people. That's how I deal with it. Actually, I don't get mad about guacamole because I don't eat it because it's gross. It left one employee injured. Oh, people are so dumb. The incident took place at a location for the popular fast casual Mexican restaurant in Southfield, Michigan. According to witnesses who spoke with TV at approximately 6:50 p.m. local time, shouting erupted in the store, reportedly from an argument between a customer and an employee over guacamole, which the chain allows customers to add to dishes for an extra fee. At some point during the guacamole dispute, gunfire broke out with the customer opening fire and hitting an employee. Stupid. How about this one from Weird News? Joanne Gibson of Cleveland said that she was stunned when she was mailed a $105 speeding ticket from the city of East Cleveland, even though the ticket's picture clearly shows her van being towed when the alleged violation took place. Again, her vehicle was being towed when she got a ticket for speeding. Gibson told the news that her van broke down December 20th. She was visiting her daycare center when her car was towed to a repair shop. Gibson said she can't understand why she was sent 2 violations when the pictures on the traffic camera ticket clearly show her van is being towed. So again, evidently the person that was towing the vehicle, maybe it was speeding while it was towing. But the woman whose vehicle was being towed got a ticket. So be careful who you hire to tow your vehicle. Make sure that they don't speed. You might get a ticket. Let's go to the files of law and disorder. Yeah, holy guacamole, Rick. Let's see here. Files of law and disorder. Let's go to Chechnya, Russia. Chechen authorities have reportedly shrunk the number of songs that are permissible in the Russian Republic by banning music that's too fast or too slow. It's just right down the middle for Chechens. They say, from now on, our musical, vocal, and choreographic works must correspond to a tempo of 80 to 116 beats per minute in order to conform to the Chechen mentality and musical rhythm. Not too fast, not too slow, just right. That's according to the Culture Ministry. Radio Free Europe reports it's unclear exactly how the restrictions will apply or would be enforced in the tightly controlled Muslim region. But yeah, just make sure you're listening to stuff. Mid-tempo music is all that's allowed in Chechnya. Files of law and disorder. Let's go to something that will make you smile.
Something that makes you smile.
Something to make you smile, brought to us by Dr. Stacy Freeze at Lifetime Dental Solutions in Sigourney and Oskaloosa. Dr. Stacy Freeze right here in Sigourney, and they are celebrating Oral Health Month. Did you know poor oral health is linked to heart disease, arthritis, and cancer? Get more information and book an appointment with Dr. Stacy Freeze and staff at 641-622-2669, lifetimedentalsolutions.com. All right, and something to make you smile. Emery Johnson's mom passed away. That was sad. Suddenly last month. And as funeral expenses started to stack up, which funerals are expensive, the Alabama 7-year-old did the only thing that she could think of. She opened a lemonade stand to raise money to pay for her mom's headstone. Now, according to a radio station, Emery sold cups of lemonade for $1 a cup last week, but thanks to her community who rallied around her, she has since raised almost $10,000. The youngster took the 4 lemons they had in the house and set up her stand last week. She said, quote, "I just want to do it to help out with my mommy's stuff." So again, that lemonade stand idea to earn some money to put towards her mom's headstone and funeral expenses. The community, again, pitched in and gave her $10,000. That is something to make you smile, brought to us by Dr. Stacy Freeze at Lifetime Dental Solutions. Let's wrap this up with some and some moment of duh today. A Kentucky man went to great lengths to avoid paying more than $100,000 in outstanding child support. Again, this is a dad that is not being a dad. And as a result, he now faces years in jail, not to mention fines that could dwarf that $100,000 in child support. In a plea agreement filed recently, Jesse E. Kipf, 39 years old, admitted to faking his own death in order to scheme out of paying that child support. This started in January of 2023 using credentials stolen from a doctor in another state. Kipf accessed Hawaii's death registry system and created a fake death certificate for himself. He also infiltrated other states' death registry systems using credentials he stole from other real people, according to the plea agreement. He ended up being listed as deceased in multiple government databases. Now, damages included more than $116,000 in losses suffered by his ex-wife, plus $79,000 in losses to governmental and corporate networks. He has agreed to pay restitution and pleaded guilty to 1 count of aggravated identity theft and 1 count of computer fraud. He is an idiot. He is a jerk. And he needs to go to jail.
Duh.
That is your moment of duh here on the Morning Wake Up, brought to us by Stam Garden Center in Oskaloosa. Let's bring up their information once again. You can check in to Stam's. Spring is definitely here. Stam Greenhouse Experience the Color, open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6. They are closed on Sundays, but you got to get into Stam's. They have got all sorts of stuff for you to check out if you like fresh flowers and plants and all sorts of decorations, all sorts of stuff. Stam's, great place to go, and they sponsor our Morning Wake Up here on Steve Shuttler Media. And of course, we always broadcast live from the Oski Dental Studios. Call 641-673-4845. Let's take one last look at our forecast for today. Sunny skies and 66. Beautiful day. Just a little bit of a west breeze. And then tomorrow, Increasing clouds, less wind, and a high in the upper 60s. Weather brought to us by the Garden Gate. All right, that will do it for this morning. And coming up here later on, what is today? Tuesday, we've got In Remembrance Of at 8 a.m. I'm looking over at our schedule at noon. We'll have What's Happening in Southeast Iowa, which is a community calendar video that we put up each week on Tuesdays. Later on, we'll have Successful Farming at 5:30 this evening. We'll get to The Brain Rewired with Coach Iva Bontrager. That just started last week, a new video series here on Steve Shuttler Media on Tuesdays. Check that out at 6. And then Be the Light Ministry with Jackie Jarms at 6:30. We might also sneak in some real talk with Aaron and Steve this evening. We'll see about that. We'll see what happens. All right. Otherwise, you guys have a great Tuesday. Enjoy the beautiful day. And we'll see you back here tomorrow at 7 a.m.